Italian, handmade, PID. What else could a guy want for under 600 euros? All right, today we're going to talk about the Lelit Grace PL81T home espresso machine. And I want to talk today about its quality, its features, modifications for it, and my experience using this machine over the past few weeks. In front of me, you are going to see some accessories right away. And that's what we'll talk about to begin with. I was just a little disappointed in what was delivered with the machine. So it does come with this fancy portafilter here, this dual spout, and it's really cool. I mean, I love the design, but the basket it comes with it did really leave something to be desired. I was not getting the best shots from this basket, and I thought, I'm just going to get a better one. So what I did is I went and I got an IMS basket. Now this one is a much nicer design, a nicer construction. The holes are more in number. They are more clean as well in how they're punched out. I've got a short video under the microscope of that. So this one that we're looking at right here is the basket that comes with the Lelit. The holes here are spaced somewhat further apart. And you can see that they're punched, and they're not punched super cleanly, as you can see here, by some of the remaining metal around the outside edges of the circles. Now, if we compare that to an IMS basket, you will see that these holes, they look quite a bit different. There's like an indentation around the hole, and the holes are much cleaner. You can see these look like very nicely rounded holes. And also there are more holes here in the IMS basket as well. Stock IMS. Here's the inside of the IMS right here. And this is the inside of the included OEM Lelit basket. You can also see from the inside that the holes look different, less clean than the IMS. The IMS basket, the machining marks are different. They look more circular. And as you can see, the holes are punched more cleanly than the included basket. And in addition, it's just nice, high quality. Getting value from this video? Please take a moment to like and subscribe. Then I got an OEM bottomless portafilter from Lelit so that I can see exactly what's going on in the extraction. And finally, I got this really nice, handsome red. This red actually exactly matches that Lelit symbol, which is nice. So I got this Lelit tamper. And this is a 57.35 millimeter tamper. It fits in that basket. Ooh, just about perfect, very nice. So with these three upgrades, I was able to immediately get better espresso. However, there was one other thing missing, and that is this machine comes with 11 bars of pressure out of the factory. You can test that by sticking this blind filter here into one of the portafilters, putting it in there, starting a shot. I was at 11 bar, and that is just a bit too much pressure. So what I did is I opened up the machine and I adjusted the OPV. Now, unfortunately, that's a bit easier said than done. More on that later. I've got another prop for today, and it's this funnel. So if you watched the first initial video of this machine, you will have remembered that I complained that it's really difficult to fill this up with water. You gotta pull up on this water tank and you gotta try to fill it up, and that is a pain in the butt. But with this funnel, it's really much, much easier. So I just stick this in there. I don't have to even lift up the tank anymore and just pour water in from the side. And that really alleviates my ergonomic issues with that part of the machine. The OPV is stuck right in the back, and that is one disadvantage I'll talk about right now. Adjusting the OPV is a pain in the butt because you have to remove those panels. This back panel here, I had to remove the inner panel and also the top panel in order to get at the OPV. But then the OPV is also made out of brass. And you gotta be very careful when adjusting anything made out of brass, because most screwdrivers that you've got, like this one, are made out of some kind of steel, which is much harder than brass. And if you're not careful, you can strip the threads on the OPV. Luckily, I was able to adjust it with a bit of patience, finding exactly the right screwdriver and using a lighter to to heat up the OPV just a little bit because it seems that they use a little adhesive or something in there. And I got down to 8.5 bars. So with that being the case, I'm very satisfied with the performance. So between using the IMS basket, a proper tamper, and adjusting the pressure down to 8.5 bars, I'm a happy camper with this machine. And I think, man, for the price, you get a sweet machine. All right, so let's just talk about the machine a little bit. All right, so what's really cool about this machine is it's got these 3 buttons here, which are illuminated. That's a pretty nice feature. It also has an illuminated manometer. Well, let's just check the pressure. You will see that the manometer lights up when you're pulling a shot, which I think is pretty fancy. And you should see that we max out at 8.5, close to 9 bar. You see that it also extinguishes the extra water down here. It's obviously got a 3-way solenoid valve, and it's got this shot counter here. I love that shot counter. So we know that our last shot, for example, here with doing the back flush is 9 seconds. Of course, we got the PID here, and I have to apologize. Due to the frame rates, I know that it's flashing a bit. This does not flash in real life. We're at 93 degrees here, and if we want to look at the other settings, we've got steam setting, I got it set at 140. We got the pre-infusion, I turned that off. This is the total count, 114 shots. Yeah, so those are the things that you can adjust. Also the temperature in Celsius or in Fahrenheit, and we're back to the main screen. And to adjust the temperature, all you've got to do is hit the minus and then the plus, and then now you can adjust it. Let's just set it at 94 degrees. When it stops flashing, it has accepted the setting. On this side, we've got the on-off button. And on the back, you've got this nice stamped symbol. This is the new logo from Lelit, and you've got the information down here where it says we've got 1050 watts. Taking a look at the other side, here we've got the steam valve. Here we've got the steam wand, which does move in any direction you want. It's on a ball joint, and you got a 1-hole tip on there. This is not a non-burn steam wand, it gets very hot. As I said, I've opened up this machine and it does use high quality components. The boiler inside is a 250 milliliter brass boiler. It's got a brass OPV, otherwise it's got an Ulka pump here on the side, and it's got a control unit obviously in there for the PID and for the control of the illumination here on the front panel. To me, it looks like they used all very nice parts. It's well assembled, it's a nice clean design, and I appreciate that. I was a little concerned that this drip tray here might not do the job so well, because you can see it's actually made by hand and it's metal. It's welded here. This is handmade in Italy, by the way. And so some Italian put this together, first of all, with bolts. You can see there and at the edges, welded the edges. And I think that's pretty nice. You see that they're handmade. The PID works very well. It's easy to set the temperature on. However, there is one thing I don't like about the PID, and that is it shows your set point temperature. It does not show the actual temperature except for when you're just starting up the machine. That is something that would be nice to see in a future update of the firmware, that you can see the actual temperature and not just the set point. It's not a big deal. It's by no means a deal breaker. It's just an observation. So I was speaking recently to a mechanical engineer at work, and he told me, Tom, as far as the success of a product goes, the selection of the materials is very important. This is made out of stainless steel. It's brushed. Stainless steel that's not brushed does not look very pretty, but this is brushed, which makes it a really nice, handsome design. The whole casing is stainless steel, as is the drip tray. As I mentioned, inside we have some brass components. Now, people argue with me. They say, Tom, stainless steel is not magnetic. Au contraire, mon frère. Some stainless steel is magnetic. It depends on the composition and how much chromium is in there. Considering that this metal is not painted, they need to make it stainless steel so that it doesn't rust. But there's many different types of stainless steel. So I have to say I'm really satisfied with this machine. I want to talk about heat up time next, the heat up time is very fast, like real fast. This brew group right here becomes too hot to touch after just 2 minutes. And on the PID, we're up to temperature as well within 2 minutes. Of course, it's always better to take your time and to let it sit for 10 or 15 minutes, but you can make a proper shot within just several minutes. I do have one con to mention with this machine. I fixed everything else that I was dissatisfied with. I set the pressure right, I got a proper basket, a proper tamper, and I found a good way to fill up water in the water tank. But what still bothers me a bit, in particular the valve here. The valve closes just too slowly, in my opinion. So you'll be steaming milk, and when you're done, you want to just cut it off, you shut the valve, and it does take like 5 or 8 seconds to fully close. And so if you pull away too quickly with your milk, you make a bit of a mess. That's really the only thing that bothers me about the machine still. Otherwise, I'm very sympathetic to this machine. I like it a lot. The looks are great, and you have a lot of space here as well. In between the drip tray here in the bottom of the portafilter, you can fit really tall cups in there, so that's another advantage. The machine, it just works well. I've not had any issues with it, and I think with that, let's go ahead and make a shot, and let's make a cappuccino. All right, here we go with the demo portion. I'm going to use 18 grams of beans. We'll go ahead and do a little WD-teen as well to distribute the grinds. All right, and that's what we're working with right there. You'll see the nice shot counter here. I find that very, very handy. All right, and there is our 36 grams in 33 seconds. And the taste? Very good. Let's go into steam mode. Now I got the set point temperature set at 140 degrees to try to make it just really heat up completely. I normally don't reach 140 degrees while steaming. It goes down a little bit, and it is a little bit sluggish. I would say it takes anywhere between 30 seconds and 60 seconds to warm up completely, but I usually go a little bit earlier. All right, let's go ahead and steam some milk on the Lelit Grace. Now I do find that the Lelit has got some pretty good steam power, but not so strong that you don't have enough time to get the milk incorporated well. You can get a nice roll going. What you do have to be careful of is when you turn the steam valve off, that you don't pull out too early. And that's getting plenty hot right there. Let me turn off the valve. And if you can hear, you can probably hear that it's refilling the boiler, bringing it back down to the temperature it's got to be at. So let's see if we can pour ourselves a little design. There you go, the Lelit Grace demonstrated making an espresso and a cappuccino. I really like this machine, and I think for the price, if you're in the European market, this is an excellent machine to consider if you're looking for a PID single boiler machine. I hope this video was helpful for you. Like and subscribe, and I say until next time, happy coffee drinking.